It's time now for a look at the day's top business news, and for that I'm joined here in the studio by Brian Quinn from the France 24 Business Desk. Brian, you're starting with a look at the state of the music business as it celebrates, of course, the 2024 Grammy Awards. So,
Haxie, the music industry's big night, as we were talking about. We've just seen Taylor Swift make history with her 4th album of the year award. Taylor Swift actually now accounts for an estimated 2% of the entire American music industry. That is more than the entire genres of classical or jazz. Her massive success, though, is an outlier. The industry overall is going through a rough patch, particularly on the jobs front. Layoffs abound in the sector, with Swift's label Universal Group announcing a plan to cut hundreds of jobs this year. Spotify laid off some 2,000 workers in 2023, with significant cuts at Warner and BMG coming as well. And it comes as the industry's growth is slowing. Universal's revenues were up 7% for the first 3 quarters of last year. Not bad, unless you compare it to 2022, when its revenues were up 24%. And more trouble is brewing, particularly with the rise of generative artificial intelligence. Universal last week began pulling all of its music from TikTok, in part over concerns that the network is allowing AI-generated music to take over there. TikTok has been crucial to building many new music careers. The spat has artists and industry reps increasingly worried.
They had some sticking points that they couldn't agree on in terms of artist compensation, protections of AI-generated music, and other safety protections. But the whole prospect, the idea of pulling music from a social media platform, it brings up a lot of concerns, especially if that does one day impact younger artists or up-and-coming artists.
Checking in on the day's trading action now. A bumpy session for Asian indexes to start the week as investors digest the latest comments from U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. A blockbuster U.S. jobs report last week had Powell confirming on Sunday that the bank will not be cutting interest rates in March. Chinese indexes in the red for the 6th straight session. Shanghai down around 1.1%. Beijing has been rolling out new policies to try and prop up the country's battered stock market. A cut in mainland banks' cash reserve requirements is taking effect Monday, with more measures expected this week. Earlier, France 24 spoke with Xfinity chief markets analyst Han Tan about the troubled Chinese economy.
I think there's still a lot of worries surrounding not just the Chinese stock market, but also the Chinese economy, right? And that's why you've got Asian markets largely moving in tandem with the declines that we're seeing for those benchmark indices in China. Look, I think it's evident from this reaction that investors are looking past the pledge for more support for stock markets out of Beijing, and investors are just well aware that the Chinese economy really needs a lot more support from the government beyond what we have seen and heard so far.
Sunday marked a major milestone for an icon of the digital landscape. Facebook is now 20 years old. Launched on February 4th, 2004, the site has gone from an invite-only network for Ivy League colleges to a near ubiquitous social media juggernaut. Along the way, it's upended the digital advertising model and drawn no shortage of controversy. Kami Knight takes a look back.
It all started in a Harvard dorm room. 19-year-old Mark Zuckerberg began working on what would soon become the most popular social media platform in the world. His initial goal, connecting students. And 20 years later, there are more than 3 billion active accounts worldwide. But as Facebook gets older, so do its users.
Every new generation has a new platform that they use, and Facebook is well versed with the older generation. And then Instagram is kind of for people in their 20s, 30s, and then Snapchat has just really taken over for the younger population.
But it's also become a lot more than an address book. For many, it's now a business tool.
For the farm specifically, we have a farm business page. We've had that for a while. We've used that obviously just to connect to our folks, to advertise events.
The Facebook days are definitely not over. More than 2 billion people log onto the platform every day, and that figure is increasing year on year. Its popularity is declining among the youth demographic, though, who are a lot more interested in Instagram or WhatsApp. Lucky for Mark Zuckerberg, he owns all of them. Parent company Meta is thriving. It made $39 billion in profits in 2023. But as US lawmakers try to clamp down on misinformation and harm caused by social media, there could be legal trouble ahead for Meta.
And finally, for business, more bad news for Boeing. The U.S. plane maker says a new quality control flaw will require it to do some more work on 50 of its 737 MAX jets in production, delaying their delivery. The company's fuselage supplier, Spirit Aerosystems, has reportedly discovered misdrilled holes on some MAX airframes. It comes on the heels of last month's dramatic incident in which a section of a 737 MAX 9 fuselage blew out at 16,000 feet over Oregon, forcing the grounding of 171 MAX 9s worldwide. The president of Emirates Airlines, meanwhile, told the Financial Times over the weekend that Boeing is in the, quote, last chance saloon after a progressive decline in its quality control performance. We'll say at least they found these misdrilled holes on time, Haxie. At least they're checking.
At least there's that, Brian. That's a nice way to round off your business update. Brian Quinn with The Business, thank you very much.